Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, hello, namaste. Today, I just want to share everyone about the subject is credit cards. So currently in our country, a lot of discussions are happening pertaining to financial planning, management, mismanagement, wealth creation, becoming financially free and independent. To retire early in life. So these sort of discussions are happening. What I want to share is particularly about credit cards. And as the term states, credit card, a card which provides credit, which, provides the facility of, you know, paying, paying back, an amount after say 40, 45, 50, 55 days. So you basically get credit. But what is actually happening in society, keeping in mind that all of you know about the definition of credit card, and I don't have to define it, too deep. Now, currently in India, the statistics can be easily be, ascertained from the search engine, and you can get the feedback how many, Indians are currently using credit cards, which is a phenomenally higher number, particularly across the urban areas of tier metro cities, tier one and tier two. And among them, the metropolitan and cosmopolitan cities has a very high number of credit card usage. Now, see this the point which I'm trying to highlight is credit card is just a convenient way, number one, to pay in a cashless manner wherever you go, whether it's your fuel, your grocery, your hypermarket, supermarket, online, e-commerce, or any of the offline online retail. You enter the credit card details and you pay. Now, when you pay, the basic part which should be there in everyone's mind, and it is just a medium of initiating a payment. It Credit cards don't have any financial benefit for you, in the sense it gives you credit, and if you don't repay the credit card dues in time, the credit card company charges you. Charge you a particular interest fee on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on an annually basis, and that continuously add on to your principal amount. And that's the point which I'm trying to highlight. Credit card does not have money. They don't have any particular, it's just not a source of money. Even if you take some cash out of a credit card, because a lot of these credit card companies offer that facility, which is whether in any of the the brands which you understand it, Mastercard, Visa, or Rupee, you take out the cash and you use it, and if you don't deposit it within a particular stipulated time, a heavy amount of interest is going to be applied. And that's the point which I'm highlighting. This is a cash, but primarily it is used for paying, in restaurant or in travel, tourism, across, different product and services credit cards are used. The problem arises that what is actually happening in, particularly in the urban youth and even in the middle age, people tend to use credit cards as if that it is a money, it's a wallet where you have hundreds and thousands of rupees and it is available for free. That's the behavior that currently the Indians have, and that's not a behavior the only Indians have. It's a global problem. Global problem. Precisely, if you focus on the credit card, it is just a simple mean of giving you credit for say around 45 50 days, after which you should repay the bank, and that's it. You're not supposed to, you know, keep on increasing the credit limit, keep on increasing your buying. For example, you have a salary of say 1.5 lakhs, and the amount which you are spending on your credit card is somewhere around 40 45% or 50% of your total salary. So what actually happens, you give EMIs and you give a lot of other liabilities and payments, and through credit card you end up spending more and more. That's what the problem which I'm trying to highlight. It is a trap. So if you have a wallet, a physical wallet, and if you keep say around 7,000 or 8,000 rupees out there, a usual human tendency is to think before you are spending. You think 10 times whether if I'm buying a particular product or not, whether it is really useful for me, and then you decide to to buy that particular product or avail a particular service. With credit card, which I've observed since many years, and even in my personal experience around my friends and family, and the society around me, they pop out a credit card like anything. They go to a, for example, say a hypermart store. They were thinking of buying some, say, 2,000 rupees of worth of some goods, but that 2,000 will quickly jump down to 5,000 or 5,000, or what can you say, the goods they were supposed to buy when they entered the store, and once they come to the billing counter, the requirements have doubled or quadrupled. The stuff which did not required initially, they end up buying more, and that's a behavior which is happening across the entire spectrum of urban audience. They are using credit card assuming that it's their own money. So for example, someone use a credit card, saw some 50,000 rupees of goods in a month. Now when they have to pay it after 45-50 days, whatever the due date is coming, and then they have a problem in paying it back because they have other liabilities. And with the card, you just take out a fancy card, a good looking card, you give it to over the counter or use it over your these e-commerce websites, and somewhere you assume, okay, you have a primary income of 1.5 lakhs or 1 lakhs, that that sort of a average income in urban India. And when they actually have to repay the amount of the credit card, they decide, okay, this is 50,000 bucks, let me just pay some 25,000, and the remaining 25,000 I will pay later after the next billing cycle. Now what actually happens in that next billing cycle, the amount comes down to, say, around with a 40%, 35% interest rate per annum, and that keep on accruing, because again in the next billing cycle they end up buying more goods and services, assuming that they'll be able to repay it further. And this cycle, this spending cycle and getting into the trap of credit card, for example, it goes on even for months and months, but it can go even stretch to a particular year. The result, at the end of the financial year, or year ending, or the calendar year ending, they overview, they audit their credit card payments, and they end up seeing that a huge amount of money has been paid as interest rate. Why? Because the debt cycle, because the interest rate which is charged on the due amount of a credit card is very high. It's one of the highest in the industry. It's around close to even 35 to even maximum can go to 45% if your amount is high and if you're not paying it regularly. One, those people who are buying or availing services, they're using their credit card, they do the payment, and once the due date arrives, they complete the entire payment. There's no balance to carry forward into the next month. With those people, there is no problem because the primary income is pretty good and they're taking care of the expenditure, and they're using credit card just as a convenience of paying digitally. It's a sort of a digital payment. And before the arrival of UPI, credit card had been used by HNI people and UHNI people and the premium people, or the middle upper segment. They were the ones who were using credit cards because it was convenient to to pay and not to carry your cash. And once the due date come, they used to pay the entire amount, and that's it. Still in India, there are huge amount of percentage of people who fell into this particular behavior bracket. They use a card, they do the payments, they avail the benefits given by the credit card, like say lounge access or some rebates or some cash back. Some ones who are flying internationally, they get a lot of benefits globally. They avail that, but they don't use credit card beyond the the limit which they have, the 45-50 days. They don't stretch the due payment dates. They don't fall into the trap of the interest rate. Imagine every month 35-40% interest rate is accruing to your credit card dues. So imagine at the end of many months or 1 year, imagine how much of interest you've already paid to the bank, to the card company. And when once the trap becomes too big, the liabilities become too big, including the interest amount and the credit card principal amount. A lot of people then what they do is can't they just close the card, they don't pay it, and they get themselves a new credit card. So they think of by doing some unscrupulous, unethical things, they won't pay the dues, they will run away. So from one bank to another bank, then to another bank. That's the behavior which was there in America, and now that's the behavior which is currently prevalent in our country. We have a very high rate of this, and banking companies hire third party agencies to tackle and control this situation. But this is a rampant problem which is happening. The youth and even the middle aged people are trapped in this credit card high interest payment cage. I will term it as a cage. And they tend to use, and their spending habit is pretty high with the credit card. As I said, even personally, you people can, anyone, male, female, anyone can go and you can observe your spending behavior. You go to a high big luxury mall, or you can say a hypermart, affordable mall and store. You will take, and you have a budget say around 1,500 rupees. Check yourself, you just go with your card, it might happen that the 1,500 will become say 4,000. You will, okay, fine, I'll pay it after 2 months or after 1.5 months. So the credit card give me around 45-50 days. So I have 5 cards, I'll use this today, and then the cycle come, I'll use it next day. The next year payment which I have to make, then I will use the next credit card from a different company. And that's how people are trying, they're buying more, they're spending more using the credit cards. They aren't able to pay it back timely, as their salary might be a limitation, or the money which they have at the end of the month is not sufficient enough to repay these credit card dues. So the spending behavior of the people, the moment they enter inside these luxurious stores, I'm not naming any particular stores, it can be any store, you know, for buying some luxury goods. Also, even basic necessities like the groceries or veggies and fruits and other stuff for the homes, or decor items, kitchen items, something for your car, okay, for your SUVs or for your big bikes. Apparel happens to be a very big spending area. So you end up, you initial one might think of buying up say 2 shirts and one trouser, but they'll end up buying 5 shirts and 3 to 4 trousers or something else, or shoes. As a matter of fact, thought of buying just one pair, they end up buying 3 pair. So these companies and brands who run and owns and operate these stores, they always try to influence the consumers to buy more. The moment you enter inside these stores, with all their interiors and architecture and the decor, the entire story which is there inside these stores, or even say electronic goods retailers, they want you to buy more. They don't want you to buy a small TV. They want you bigger, and the biggest TV or the biggest refrigerator or washing machine, phone, gadgets, tablet, PC, computers, anything. And they'll tell you have a credit card, we have some scheme, we'll give you some cash discount. And they force you to spend more, irrespective whether you can afford it or not. They will force you, and they will tell you, okay, fine, if you cannot afford it, why don't you take something on EMI? But in this video, I'm not talking about EMI. I'm just talking, my focus is on credit cards. With the credit card, so you have say a budget of buying a laptop say around 1 lakh, but the laptop is costing you around 130. There's a newer version. So the salesperson will force you, why don't you take a EMI on the 30,000? Some attractive scheme is there. And that's how people are falling into the trap of the credit card, the dues and the interest. Imagine 40-45% interest rate per annum which you have to pay. One of the most highest interest rate in the industry. And then they think of, they aren't able to pay, and they think we'll run away, and then the CIBIL score drops down. CIBIL actually came just around, is very active of pretty couple of years before that CIBIL was not existent. So right now a lot of people are somewhere in fear that, okay, if my CIBIL score goes down, then I won't be able to have a bigger loan, and the financial history will get disturbed and negatively reflected in front of financial institutions and banks. So it is, CIBIL is acting as a deterrence, and people are trying not to fall into the trap of credit card dues, but still they're falling trap. And the trap is that they pay the minimum amount due in a credit card. So say around 10,000 they have to pay at the month end or at the due date. The bank will ask, okay, kindly complete your payments. They don't do it. They pay the minimum amount, say around 500 rupees or 1000 rupees as mentioned on the credit card bills, and then they again get a 45 or 50 days credit period of paying it the next month, the next billing cycle. And then the person again get relaxed. In that due time, he or she will buy more products and avail more services online or offline, which will add up to this particular already the dues, to the dues which currently is present, and the total principal amount will again increase. And again in the billing cycle, if they don't clear all the dues, the principal amount increased. Earlier it was 10,000, then it will come down to 20,000. The 20,000 with all the interest and everything will come to 25,000, then it will go to 30,000, and that's how the amount increased. This is a very small example which I am giving. The amount sometimes goes into lakhs and lakhs. Couple of lakhs is a very usual norm in our country. So through this video, I just wanted to share my thoughts on the behavioral pattern of credit card. The credit is being used as if it is your own money, but it is not your own money. It's the money of the bank which they're just giving you a facility of credits of particular days, say 40-45 days. But these credit card companies and even the entire, as I stated you, these e-commerce companies and these stores and everyone, their entire capitalistic ecosystem is forcing you to spend more and more, to buy more, to avail more services beyond your capacity. That even if you don't have your capacity of buying an iPhone, or something costing around 80-90,000 bucks or 1 lakh or 110, 115, the company is going to force you, okay, you don't have money, fine. You take my phone on EMI. And EMI will already have the interest which has been calculated in its pricing. And the overall pricing increases. But just because it is EMI and you have to pay it in monthly installments, you don't have to pay the entire amount upfront. So the consumer says, okay, fine, I agree to it. And they end up paying more amount for the same product, which is costing say around 80, 90 or 70,000. You end up paying 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 more. And people are doing it. And companies are doing this mischief. And consumers are, they're getting into the trap. They're saying, okay, fine, we are paying more, so what's the big deal? I have the product. Because they didn't have the money, their salary or their earning, forget about the salary. Their overall business or service income is not that high that they can afford that sort of a gadget or any product. But still, it's aspiration for them. There is a pressure from the society to buy it. So they fell into the trap. So that's, I just wanted to share my thought surrounding credit cards. And this is very deadly because a lot of the mental, I'll say, it's a sort of the mental health get disturbed once get your credit card dues come to around 2 lakh, 3 lakh. I'm speaking currently in Indian parlance, the monetary, we use lakhs. Globally, there can be a different, currency which is there prevalent in your country. So it can be around 2 lakh, 3 lakhs, 4 lakh, 5 lakhs. And the credit amount, will substantially continue to increase because the rate of interest is around 40% plus. And I don't, that's a problem which I'm trying to highlight with all of you. So that's all. I'll sign off at this time. There's more to say around credit cards, that why people end up buying more from the credit card. I will try to again explain that consumeristic behavior while using a card compared with, for example, if you have a bundle of notes or if you have your debit card in your hand, okay, you have to make a payment, use your bank debit card. Or you know, as in India, a lot of, you know, physical currency is still used. And then you compare it with, you know, taking a credit card. So let's see. Those are my thoughts. Hope you appreciate, and you like my, or you don't like, or you dislike. Please share your thoughts in my, in the comment section, and I'll share more on this particular subject later in other videos. Thanks. Goodbye. Have a great day.